Hey everybody, Mountain Man here with another episode of Hunter 101. You may notice things are a little bit different than normal. The audio is probably going to be a little off. Frame rate's going to be a little off. Quality's not going to be as good as it normally is. I've had some problems with recording lately. Um, so what I've ended up having to do is just simply stream this episode to Twitch and then download it from Twitch and upload it to YouTube. So kind of having to finagle it a little bit. Sorry about the feedback over the mic. I may or may not be able to edit that out post-process. If I can't, sorry. That's the way it is, unfortunately. So what I'm just going to do is just stream this to Twitch and then re-upload it to YouTube afterwards. And we're just going to have to go from there, and I'll have to try and figure out my recording woes in the meantime. So sorry for the delay on that. Anyway, let's get right into it. So this is going to be the final in our weapon episodes in Hunter 101. We've already gone over rifles, shotguns, and bows. So today we're going to go over handguns. So let me, not look up at the sky. Let me run over here. I'm going to get into my cache and remove, oh no, I still have my 3 on there from the, I think, 5th or 6th time I tried to record. Getting some really bad FPS drops and stuttering in the video, no matter what source I record from. So, good. So I still have those in there. So you have 3 handguns available to you in the game. You have the 357 Focoso, you have the 44 Magnum, and then you have the 454 Rhino. Now, all 3 of these are more than capable of being used for hunting and reliably taking down game from a distance. Keeping in mind that effective range on these is only about 50 meters, so they really are just a short-range hunting tool. That doesn't mean you can't kill stuff past 50 meters, but you're really going to have perfect shot placement, and maybe are going to have to overbore a little bit on the animals, which means you're going to have to use a bigger caliber than you normally would, which is going to cost you integrity bonus. And they can also be used for self-defense against charging bear, moose, bison, elk, whatever. The 454 especially, I like to carry around with me just for that. Because even against bison, one shot is going to at least make it sit down and think about what it's done, so that you have time for a follow-up shot. Or it could just kill it in one shot. The 454 is good for that. There are 3 sights available to you in the game. We're going to go over those. There are 2 types of ammo for each handgun. We'll go over that. So let's dive right into it. We're going to start with the 357. The 357 is analogous to, I'd say, the 243, maybe somewhere between the 243 and the 3030 in terms of stopping power. Again, 50-meter effective range, so you really got to make sure that you're within that effective range to reliably hunt animals with it. For the 357, you have the Red Raptor Reflex sight. So it gives you the red dot. I'm not a big fan of this. It's hard to line up a shot real quick with it, in my opinion. And it does have that weird glass effect, the green glass effect around the red dot. You have the iron sights, obviously. So you have 4 sights total if you count the iron sights. But then you have the tritium sights, which are nice for lining up a shot real quick in low light. But even in daylight like this, it really does make a difference. See? And again, if you hit middle mouse button, it'll turn your tritium sights on and off. So if all you want to do is go with the iron sights, you might as well spend the money on the tritium sights. It just gives you that little extra thing, but it's not, obtrusive. And then, of course, you're going to have the Goshawk, which is a 2x4x scope that you can use for hunting. It does have zoom on it. Very limited zoom, but it does have zoom. It really is irrelevant because you are going to be hunting animals within 50 meters. Sorry for the slurping. That's my dog in the background, which I would normally be able to not have in the video, but he has decided to take a huge drink of water. Anyway, getting back into it. All 3 handguns can equip those 3 scopes, sights. So, in my opinion, if you are taking it out for personal protection, I would say go with the tritium sights. If you're going to be hunting with it, definitely use the scope. It'll just allow you to line up shots a little bit better. As far as the ammunition is concerned, all 3 of them have 2 types. You have a jacketed hollow point, and then you have a flat nose hard cast. Difference between the 2, jacketed hollow point is meant to expand, so it's going to do a lot of initial damage and bleed when it hits, but it doesn't have very good penetration. The flat nose hard cast is going to give you tons of penetration, but it's not going to give you as big of a bleed tick. So if you know that you're able to reliably put your shots into the heart, double lungs, spine, use the flat nose hard cast, just because it's got the better penetration, especially in those bigger animals. If you know your shot placement is not that great, go with the jacketed hollow point. Or if you're primarily going to be going for long shots, that'll cause a lot of initial damage and also put a really big bleeding dot on the animal afterwards. So they're not going to run very far before they drop to the ground. The next one up is going to be the 44 Panther Magnum. 44 Panther Magnum, I would say, is going to be congruent with the 270, probably between that and the 4570. So you can use this for all deer. You're not going to get an integrity bonus on roe and blacktail, though, if I'm not mistaken. Oh yeah, I forgot to go over that with the 357. 357 is going to be sufficient for using for all deer. I think with the, it'll give you 100% on roe deer. It's just not going to give it to you on fox. And you can also use it for bear, but it's not as reliable just because it doesn't have as much stopping power. During a charge, I wouldn't rely on this. I would probably use this more for hunting bear, but you've got better options available to you. Let's put it that way. Boar, you can take them down with it, but they're a little tough. 44 Panther Magnum being congruent with the 270 and the 4570. Can be used for whitetail all the way up to elk. Elk are a little bit of a tough kill with it. Red deer, they're not too bad as long as you put your shots proper. But whitetail deer, black bear, red-tailed deer, the wild boar, it does great on the wild boar. You could kill moose and bison with it, but it's going to be really touch and go just because it doesn't have the stopping power and it doesn't have the penetration for it either. And the third and final one is the Big Momma, the 454 Rhino. This thing is a tank. It will kill everything in the game with one shot, no questions asked. Especially with proper shot placement, bison and moose will melt underneath this thing. It is excellent for self-protection because, again, it'll kill everything in the game. But even if it doesn't kill it, it's going to make it stop for 2 seconds so you can line up a second shot. As far as using it for hunting, I believe you get 100% integrity on elk. I know you get it on moose and bison. I wouldn't use it for anything under that, though. Anything smaller than elk. You could, but you're not going to get an integrity bonus because it's just plain overkill. I mean, this thing really is just a horrific beast of a weapon, especially if you're using those flat nose hard cast bullets. That will penetrate like you've never seen before. So the only other thing I really have to say about handguns, and we'll kind of go back over everything as I wrap the video up, is the reload time on them. Now, with the rifles, if you fire one shot, you hit the reload button, it's going to reload however many shots you took, however many is empty in the magazine. Handguns reload the entire thing, and it's a very, very long reload time. It's roughly a 10-second reload time to do one bullet. So you don't want to have that happen in the middle of a bear charge where you fire off a shot, you miss, and now you've got to reload for 10 seconds while the thing comes after you. Same thing with going against bison or whatever. So you want to make sure that you keep your gun loaded, and I would keep at least 2 in the cylinder at all times. Let me just show you. I fired off one shot there. Let me show you exactly how long it takes to reload this stupid weapon. All right, we're going to start now. That was pretty ridiculous. Also, you saw the graphical glitch in the middle of the screen there. I'm seeing that more and more now. It's kind of weird how it happens. I don't really like it. I think that, honestly, that sort of thing should have been fixed a long time ago, but whatever. I'm not a game dev. I don't know exactly what it takes. But anyway, you saw how long that reload time was. Now imagine that you've got a bison charging at you. Yeah. So you're going to want to try and make sure that you keep the thing reloaded at all times. Or at the very least, keep 2 shots in the cylinder. So, just kind of recapping on this, The 357 is good for smaller game, up to about, I'd say, whitetail deer. The 44 is good for middle range game, whitetail to red deer. And then the 454 is good for the big stuff, elk and up. Um, However, if you're using your gun for personal defense, the 454 works really well for that, no matter what's attacking you. If you're hunting, make sure you use the scope, and make sure that you are bringing the animals within the 50-meter effective range, because if they're outside of it, you're going to get really, really weird results. Accuracy of these three weapons, they're nice and accurate. They'll put the shot right where the aiming sight is every single time, so long as it's not a super long distance shot. And just keep in mind the super long reload time. That's it. They're a nice change of pace with hunting. Kind of like how I use the bows instead of rifles, just because it's a little bit more of a challenge. I mean, rifles are fun. It's nice to be able to take stuff down at 150, 200 meters, but sometimes it's a little boring to reach out and touch something from such a long distance. So I like using the handguns just as a change up, make things interesting. But I always make sure I carry one around with me for personal protection when I'm in the woods anyway. And that's it. That's all there is for this. That's the last of the weapon episodes. I'm not really sure what I'm going to go into next. It could be the sound system. It could be the visual system. Could be shot placement. That one's been requested quite a bit by people. The different ammunition types people have requested, which I've kind of gone over with each weapon episode, but it might be nice to have it all kind of congealed into one gelatinous mass of a video. So I'm not really sure what I'll go to next. If you've got some suggestions, by all means, throw them down into the comments. This is obviously for YouTube, not for Twitch. And I will take that into consideration. As always, if you guys like the content, like, comment, and subscribe. And again, this is recorded initially over on Twitch. I do have a Twitch channel. I stream Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, until whenever I fall asleep. So if you like live content and listening to the sultry dulcet tones of my New England voice, by all means, head over there, click follow, and you'll know when I go live. I do off-time streams as well, whenever I feel like it. And thanks for tuning in, guys. And we will see you in the next video. Take care, everyone.